In this video, we are looking at problem 715, where we're going to be computing or calculating the business risk of a firm. Now, before we get into this, I want to just talk a little bit about business risk. Business risk is a measure of, well, first of all, we measure it by this variable called the coefficient of variation, and that is a measure of the volatility of your operating income. And that's going to be directly related to the volatility of your expected sales. So for example, if we expected all of these sales, if we knew, let me just put, if we knew that our sales were for sure going to be 7 million, and I'm saying 7 million because this is all these figures are in thousands, so this is 7 million. If we knew, if we didn't have any volatility at all, then our coefficient of variation would be 0. We would have no business risk whatsoever. Now, what they're showing us here is that when we factor in a variable expense, and in this case, the variable expense is 60%, and this is not very well written, but it's 60% of sales. So the formula here is just multiplying sales by 60%. If you look right up here, you follow my cursor up. So that's what this is, and because it's a percentage of sales, then variable expenses are not going to change the ratios of the sales. The ratios of the operating income estimates are going to be the same as the sales, and we can see that easier if I change these numbers a little bit. So let me just change this to 1,000, which is actually 1 million, and change this to 2 million and see if this is going to work. Whoops. Yeah. Now you see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we have sales that are estimated, or possible sales from 1 million to 7 million. Now, why the variable expenses as a percentage of sales don't affect your business risk? Because the same ratios, in other words, 400 is just as much smaller in terms of a ratio. Is half of 800. See, 1,000 is half of 200, 400 is half of 800, 1,000 is a third of 3,000. So the ratio here is 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 4. So when you just increase every a probable sales figure by a percentage, then it doesn't change the ratios. In other words, you have the same percentage changes as you go up. So that's not going to change anything. Now, what you want to do when you do your problem is you want to make sure that you look at the sales here, 800, 1,000, 1,400, and you put those in right here. And then you look at your fixed expenses, which are 0, so put those in here. There's no fixed expenses at all. And then your probabilities are here, 2%, 8%, 20%, and put a 2% right here in as 0.02, right? And that's going to give you what you want there, okay? And then 0.08, 0.2, 0.4, put those in right there, and then everything else will just fill in for you, and you should get your business risk or coefficient of variation right here. And once again, if you want to look at these formulas, you can. If you just click on the cell and move up here, you can see the formula in Excel, and you can also see the formulas, that the more standard form of the formulas here. Okay, so that is how you need to calculate the business risk or the coefficient of variation for this firm.